Right.
Don't be there to begin with.
It'll be good.
The most important thing is the camera, right?
Yeah, it's all about the bonnet, isn't it?
Jesus.
Right.
You got to talk up a bit. You quiet.
So I've got to go and check the air before we start here.
You what?
Go and check my bonnet before we start.
No, you've just done it on the camera. The camera's rolling. Where are you going?
I've got to say.
To be honest, don't really know what I'm doing.
He was often a player that I would buy on Football Manager.
It's already a terrible reason.
From Jon Snow, Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
Ian Taylor said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen in his life.
My theory on referees is you give them the nicest changing room in the stadium.
This is the most bizarre thing I've ever
Hear me out.
I cannot believe Gabriel Bondahor's
That's crazy,
That's
isn't it?
terrible. Yeah, we may well have lost listeners early doors again with a long-winded intro. Go, shoot. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast. I'm absolutely thrown because, one, Chris Dolan's late, mega late, not even just a little bit, big late, I'd say.
Yeah, but that wasn't because of anything like personal.
Work.
There you go.
These things happen, okay. But then he's come in, we were just about to start, all set up, and he runs off to check his hair, as you'll probably see in the outtakes at the start. And then I've knocked his coffee over, so it just hasn't been, it's not been a solid start. But someone...
I'm probably stressed out.
Yeah, I feel stressed as well. Someone in the... Don't tap that desk. Sorry, apologies for this start for listeners and people watching via video because it's not a great start. But we have got some good news because Thomas Julian, you will notice, is not here today. He's not been dropped. He was okay last week. He's not been dropped, but there was a last-minute change because his wife went into labour, I think 10 days before the baby was actually due, but all is well. And Alfie James Julian was born at 11:58 p.m. on the Monday, the 19th of November, which we're all very, very happy about. So congratulations to Tom and family. I mean, I think with the middle name James, because my middle name is James, I think he's actually named him a little bit after me. If that makes sense.
If you want to think like that.
He wasn't going to get away with having the name Daniel. I don't think that would have got past his wife, but he subtly named his baby after me. And if you've seen the pictures on social media, you'll agree that he's a beaut. Takes after his mother, not his father. But yeah, Tom's now probably not going to be here for a couple of weeks, so we hope he enjoys his paternity leave. And it's great news, isn't it, Don?
Another Villa, another Aston Villa fan enters the world.
Watch out for that coffee.
I've got to say this.
So, you okay? Not been on for a couple of weeks? You good?
Good. Just
living the dream?
Just flat out busy, man. Just it's a nightmare trying to get across London tonight.
Yeah.
The weather
changes things in London.
Waterloo Station's.
I mean, we don't want to spend too long dwelling, but it does completely change things.
Yeah, I've got 5 days off, so I'm going to sit by the Christmas tree.
If you follow Dolan on social media, you'll have noticed his Christmas tree has gone early. Now, let us know in the comments whether you agree with this, but I think it going up in November is an absolute disgrace.
I think it is too, but you know.
Why do you let it happen?
Because Mrs.
She likes it.
Happy wife, happy life.
Well, yeah, but I think the month of December, 1st of December...
That's what I said.
At a push, you put it up the night before. During November, but no, she's not having it.
She wants a good solid 6, 7 weeks.
Yeah.
But it's nice. I mean, we came in last night and, you know, lights are on, candles are lit.
Baileys?
Nah,
you're not a Baileys man, are you?
I was slagging off Stu about drinking Baileys at the end. Awful drink.
Okay, well, to be honest, I can't tell how long we've been on the podcast because the audio's been running whilst we've been making a hash of the setup. Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's get into Villa. Obviously, no game since last week.
Yeah, missed it. You know, there's been times where you sort of need a breather, but
we didn't need that breather, did we?
Really missed it. And of all the weekends for us not to be playing, it was the weekend after we come off arguably one of the best performances I've seen in many years. Just a complete performance.
Obviously you didn't do it last week, so we'll just talk about the Derby game. Your thoughts post Derby?
I mean, I was sort of confident-ish that we'd get something out of it. I didn't think we'd win it in that fashion.
I thought we'd win, but I got to say, I didn't think we'd win 3-0.
No, nobody thought we'd win like that. And whenever I saw the likes of Mason Mount not on the team sheet, you know, he's been their star man.
Although he was on a bit of a drought in goals and assists beforehand, but
still he's been good for them. And I just thought everything just clicked. Everything clicked. A few hairy moments in the first half. You know, we can't be getting caught with a long ball twice, which is worrying.
Unusual that is as well for us
because 3 times.
Transabi's got a bit of pace. It doesn't happen too often.
Against QPR and twice against Derby, so that's a bit worrying. But other than that, I mean, it didn't look like they even touched the ball in the second half. Like from what you know,
we were very good. I think
we were just outstanding, and that's it's kind of nice to see, because that's what the fans have been saying all along. Like, the quality in that squad and in that team is outrageous. And it just showed that we can go to a team like Derby and blow them away. You know?
Statement.
I think so, but you never know. Like, football can come up and bite you in the arse, you know. So
hopefully not this weekend.
Hopefully not this weekend. But if you get a chance, you watch the Rams TV highlights. They're brilliant because well, first of all, they're well shot. But Jack Woodward does commentary.
Oh, you like having Jack, are you? You like him?
No, he's just obviously ex-Villa, isn't he?
Yeah.
And it's just nice to, hear him.
You miss his tones?
I don't actually know.
Oh.
Not at all.
You've just said it's nice to hear him, and now you're saying
nice to hear him commentating us beating Derby 3-0.
You glad he's still got a job? That's basically what you're saying, is what I've taken from this.
No.
Oh, okay.
Has any kind of annoyed me over the last decade on AVFT?
Okay.
AV TV?
I mean, you've completely lost me with your praise there, but let's go. I mean, it's the international break, which is quite an appropriate word, break, because we've had a bit of a nightmare with injuries. People haven't really played, but yet they've come back from international duty injured. Chester played 50 minutes injured. McGinn came home before the international started.
Did even make it? Yeah.
Bjarnason hasn't gone with Iceland because he's injured. Taylor withdrew, so we're picking up some knocks to players that are in and around the first 11.
You can see, and I'm guessing the fact that our tempo and the way we play under Smith has maybe kind of caught up with a few of them, because they're maybe not used to that intensity. But you never know. I mean, still a few days to go. I mean, these players, you can get through in these games under sheer adrenaline. I think Chester, he might be okay, but you said you heard a few rumblings that McGinn might be.
My sources are telling me that McGinn's not unlikely to make Saturday Sundays, I reckon.
But we've got enough quality in the middle of the park to cover.
Bjarnason being fit's quite big.
Yeah. But for me, if Chester doesn't play, who comes in? Jedinak.
I mean, James Collins is still training with us, I believe. I'm surprised we haven't rushed that through. We need cover.
He wasn't fit.
Well, no, that's the problem. He probably hasn't played since May.
He hasn't played since last season. Yeah. You can't chuck him into a Villa Blues game.
Although, if you remember his debut, that's exactly what happened. He suddenly just came in and played against Blues. We won 1-0, Gabley.
Yeah, but
Collins and Dunn just got chucked straight in there.
But he'd been playing?
I don't know, I can't remember, to be honest, but it was his first game. It was what I'm saying is one occasion to be chucked in. Yeah, exactly. Two centre-backs never played together before, Collins and Dunn. Came in and kept a clean sheet in their first game in a big ding-dong derby. I'm just like, what a circumstance to come in and make your debut. In answer to your question, there's only Jedinak, unless he plays Hutton or Bree there, but Jedinak would make more sense to me against Jukovic.
Yeah.
His name I've just completely mullered, probably.
Jukovic, he hasn't got much pace, so I think
he's good in the air.
He's good in the air.
He scored a lot of goals this season.
They've got a few good players. Looking at their squads, it's handy, and it's being well coached as well.
I can't remember where I read this, but I saw something today that said Villa have got the better players, but Birmingham have got the better team. I'm not sure about that now. Maybe under Bruce.
We've got the better players on the better team.
Oh, yeah.
But they've been well coached under Monk for the last sort of 6 months.
He's done well, to be fair.
Apart from Hull, where they had a bit of a shocker, they still
didn't lose though.
The 3-0 up at home.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? But they didn't. They're on a good run of form.
They've up until Derby, they'd won their last 4.
Yeah,
beaten Stoke, beaten Leeds. They've drawn against Brentford. They haven't. That sort of patch at the start of the season, whenever they couldn't win, but they were drawn 0-0 and 1-1. But they were.
You know what? I watched a couple of those games and they were good.
Yeah,
they played well in those games. They deserved to win.
They've got a good squad of players, and they've kept them as well. I know they've had their problems, but they've kept like Jota. I like your man Magoba. Davis.
Well, he's just gone back to training. He was injured. He's come back into training. Magoma.
Okay, and Davis always seems to do quite well.
He's injured. Hot as a doubt as well. So they've got a few. I did my research, mate.
Okay.
Tom's not here. I thought I'd better do some research. I was hoping, because he thought he was doing it, that he might have done the podcast notes and he might fire them over to me. But he's obviously had other things on his mind.
Yeah. Me.
No. I mean, I knew you weren't going to do the notes.
I wasn't going to do it.
No notes. No notes from you. Standard.
No notes, Dolan.
Just back to those injuries. We're saying McGinn being out, we can cover it because we've got other players, but he's been massive the last few games. He's been so good.
He was good under Bruce, but he was good under Bruce when he was kind of shackled. But how good's he been under Smith?
Well, just the fact he was in the box against Derby speaks volumes.
He could have had a couple. That one that just whistled past the post.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal, phenomenal. What an engine, and what a guy. He seems like a really great guy as well. Like that interview that he did with Stan Petrov, just seems like a proper bloke.
I can tell you, I've met him. very friendly, nice guy.
And you want a nice group of lads. You want that bond, and it seems to be we've got that as well.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and they all look out for each other. And he's been brilliant. I mean, an absolute snip, and fair play to Bruce for scouting him and finding him.
Do you think it was Bruce?
Well, who would it have been?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
Because we didn't have Steve Ryan or anything in charge.
No,
at the time, so.
I mean, we've got scouts.
But yeah,
I couldn't name you one of them because Tony Cohen, who was one of them, is gone. But we've got scouts.
But I think Bruce would have had the final say.
I mean, he'll have been aware of him. I mean, I'm sure Bruce isn't a clown. Like he's got knowledge of footballers. So yeah, I think you're probably right. I think you're probably right. Yeah. One man whose first taste of the derby it'll be is Dean Smith. Obviously, we don't want to big it up too much because he kind of played it down. But he knows Villa fan. What a day for him!
If anybody knows about that game, it's him.
Yeah,
he may not have managed in it, but he's watched enough of them. He's been to enough of them. He knows about them. He's a Villa fan. You'll get it. Terry played in it last year. Jack's been there. Connor's been there. I mean, they've all been there. I mean, the one where you look at maybe players like Neyland, although he had a great game against Derby and kept the clean sheet against Bolton.
Did you say that pass he made?
Well, I mean,
do you think he meant that?
No,
you're not having that.
No.
I used to Neyland hate to you.
That was a scuff and a half. It came off, didn't it? But no, I mean, we spoke about nerves last time we were on here, and you spoke about Engelman being like petrified to go and stand in front of the.
Yeah, it's good that he's had a good game just before the Birmingham game.
He's had a couple of good games. I think confidence will be up. Having someone like Cutler in as well, I think will really help.
Apparently, he's very good, Cutler.
Yeah,
very good.
So I've heard, and is it a coincidence that he's been in for 2 games and he's kept 2 clean sheets? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think you could put it down just to that.
He didn't put a foot wrong at Derby. He didn't put a foot wrong. He was excellent. I mean, excellent.
No, that one save was a very good save.
Oh, stunning save.
Tipped over the bar.
Stunning. And then even when he came big as well for their first attempt.
You know what? I noticed that again in the QPR game. He didn't save it. He got quite a big hand on it, and it ended up going in the QPR. But he made himself massive,
Schmeichel-esque,
just like I'm doing here on the screen for those watching by video. He absolutely massive. Came out and was unlucky not to save that. I thought.
Yeah.
I think. Are you thinking that maybe you went too soon?
No.
You were telling me.
I was only commenting. I was only sort of critiquing on what I was seeing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was only telling it how I saw it. Somebody tweeted today saying, "Have you forgiven Neyland after his 2 clean sheets?" Well, his clean sheet against Bolton wasn't perfect.
No.
His performance and clean sheet against Derby for me was 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So he's only had 1 great game. So. Let's just give it time. But I always said it was never personal. I was just judging and giving my opinion on what I was seeing.
Yeah,
so that's all it was.
That's fair enough. That's fair. Like you say, I'm not going to sit here and say he hasn't made errors because he has. But I just think I always try and look at there maybe being a reason why things are happening. That if they're bad, because the defence, we've been over this, we've done it to death, but. Yeah. The defence wasn't settled under Bruce. No. They were all over the place. Chester, who's been our best player for 2 years, so consistent, suddenly
out of character.
Yeah, just didn't look himself at all, did he? In it, I mean, pray to God he's fit for Sunday, but he's getting back to his best again now. So it's Twanzebe looks a completely different player now. He's playing at centre back, playing under Smith. So there's reasons for it, isn't there? That not only is Neelan getting better, but those two are getting better as well.
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
Yeah. You asked about who plays instead of Chester. Jedinak coming in. Him and Whelan, actually, if they end up playing through injury, do you think that's not necessarily a bad thing because this is kind of their type of game, if that makes sense?
Yeah, but that's not our kind of game.
So yeah, anymore. I mean, I get what you're saying, but a derby game can turn into a battle. It can turn into one of those horrible games.
Don't play football, like I don't see Man City going right. Let's get the big boys out. Let's get stuck in. They play their game, They play their game.
Yeah, and that's Man City. That's a completely different thing.
But a philosophy is a philosophy. You don't just change it for a derby game.
I'm not saying that.
I get what you're saying, but no, I think we'll stick to our guns. I think Smith has a clear plan and a clear vision, and he. Regardless of who we're playing, he'll want the fans to be entertained. Simple as that.
What I'm saying is,
but if there's any game that we could scrap 1-0 win with a deflection off someone's backside, it would be Blues. You'd take it in any which way it came.
What I'm saying is, if Jednak comes in at centre back, depending on who you're playing, it's not an ideal situation.
No.
But playing against a big physical Birmingham front line, that's his bread and butter. That's his
and they're
game.
not blessed with pace. The Blues front line. So
no, but Che Adams is on decent run of goal scoring form.
Yeah, he's a good player.
For Mukovic, as we say, I think he's got 9 goals. So what I'm saying is, if it's more of an aerial threat, Chester's by far the superior defender to Jednak, but Jednak is better in the air than him. There's no doubt about that. And Jednak came into the derby last year and had a very, very good game. I mean, again, it's a different time. Birmingham were a worse side.
Dreadful. Yeah.
We were looking good at that point. Let's be fair. We were playing some decent football at that point. Grealish and Adoma
Hogan was playing.
Were on top of the game. Hogan had his best game in a Villa shirt, in my opinion. That day, it's different teams to last season, but if ever there's a game for Jedinak to come in, I think it's this one. Do you not think you would have maybe been tempted to play him anyway, or are you thinking philosophy?
What if everyone's fit, he brings him in? No, because everyone thought he'd bring.
You're right.
Everyone thought against Derby would be a bit more defensive.
Do you not think he'd have thought about it though? I'm not saying he would have done it. I'm saying, do you think he would have crossed his mind?
He'd have thought about it if he had to, but if he doesn't have to, I think he's going to stick with what he's doing. I mean, we thought at home against Bolton, we thought the midfield three was going to be more of a home setup. Yeah. And then he goes to Derby and he keeps the same team.
And it works better.
Blow them away,
works better,
absolutely blow them away. So, for me, it's at Villa Park, 40,000 people. We're the home team. We have to be on the front foot. We have to attack.
I think we will.
And I think we will. And I think if we can play the way we played against Derby and we can keep that form and that setup and that shape, bring it on, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, what,
Well, yeah. Talking about team and shape, I've put down here, if the worst happens and the players that we've mentioned are injured are not there, I've got what I think the team would be written down here and the subs. So I'm going to read the team out to you. Mm-hmm. So Neeland in goal, Elmo, Yeddy, Axel and Hutton back four, Connor, Whelan and Jack in midfield, Adoma, Tammy and Balassi as the front three. Bench, Bunn, Bree, Lansbury, Codger, Hogan, El Ghazi and O'Hare. That's still a very good team.
A good team.
That's 4 players out there and that is still a good team. Would you be happy with that lineup?
I just worry about the pace in the middle of the park.
Pace in the middle of the park?
Yeah.
Well, there's only McGinn gone from that. He's not rapid. I know what you're saying about Whelan. He gets up and down. He gets around.
Rapid.
Yeah, but
he covers every blade of grass.
In a foot race, he wouldn't beat a pacey player, would he? But you more Whelan you worried about there.
Yeah, I am. I just think to come in and play in that position and to not have played much at all this season.
He didn't when he came on against QPR. I think that's the last time he was involved. I didn't really notice him.
No.
Did you?
No,
I felt like the game bypassed him a little bit.
It did. Listen, man. I mean, at that level, he's still a good player.
Useful to have around the place.
Useful to have around. Great lads. Done amazing things for club and country. But as you say, that team on paper should still easily beat most teams.
You'd be confident in that 11.
Yeah, I mean,
would you have that 11? Is that the 11 you go with if the worst happens and those 4 are out? Yeah, it's just down there at the bottom. You look at the notes. I mean, are you looking at the players on the bench? Is there anything you do differently? Codger maybe coming in. I mean,
no, I think it's Balassi's time to start. I think he's deserved to start. Adoma was very good again against Derby. He's very good at tracking back. As much as I like Codger, because I think on his day he's a match winner for us.
Yeah.
I think Smith seems to really like Adoma's work rate. And he's certainly, he's getting back to the Adoma of last season.
I was about to say that.
He looked like a shadow of his former self this season.
He was frustrating me.
All over the place. And the whole low move was just all so badly handled. So he's looking like the player he was when he scored. When he scored against that goal against Blues, he scored last season
he was really on top of his game at that point, wasn't he?
Brilliant, and so I think that's the team. I think that's the one he would probably favour, and I think it's, as I said, it's good enough to win.
Do you think if Adoma gets a goal, he'll go on a run like he did last season once he gets that first goal? He hasn't scored yet this season.
No, yeah. You'd like to think so. Confidence. If you're looking at you look at McGinn, you look at Tammy, you look at Blassie. I mean, everyone's starting to really kind of find their form. Even Jack's. Yeah, I mean, all he needs is just more goals. He's playing.
I think he'll add to. I think that will add to his game under Smith.
I think so too.
He's going to come. We were saying it last season, even when he was playing, he was the best player in the Championship second half of last season for me. But even then, we were saying, I just wish he'd shoot more. He could do with more goals.
Yeah.
He's perhaps a bit tentative when he's in shooting positions.
Even against Derby, he had a few efforts in goal that he could have done better with. But I think overall, his style of play and the way he plays, the way he carries the ball is just it's sensational. It was funny. He got fouled. Straight from kick-off on against Derby, half a second in, and he's been taken out.
It is an absolute joke how often he gets fouled,
and people give him stick for it. He gets.
It's not like they're little fouls. No. He gets clattered. He gets absolutely. And
there was a moment in the second half against Derby when he had the ball outside the box and he laid it off to El Mohammadi. And he got dragged back, and you could see him turn to the referee and go, "Come on, what's going on here?"
The refs don't do enough for me, and I'm bound to say it because I'm a Villa fan. There's
a bit of bias in there as well, but they don't do enough at all, and he's a target.
Yeah,
and it's got to be frustrating going out there knowing you're going to get kicked left, right and centre.
I think it hinders his output, if I'm being honest. I think it affects him getting goals and assists.
Yeah.
He's quite often the man who makes the final pass before the assist.
He does.
You don't get any credit for that.
No.
It doesn't show up on the stats anywhere. I remember Snodgrass saying last season that he played one of the best passes he's ever played. I think it was against Burton.
Yeah, through
to a dome, and he was thinking, please shoot Albert, I want an assist for that. And then Albert squares it for Hogan to tap in. That doesn't show on the stats.
That was goal of the season.
I think stats can be deceiving.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Of course.
I mean, let's move on to Derby Day nerves, because Adam Wright's asked. Well, he hasn't even asked anything, actually. He's basically just said, he has asked something. He said the Blues game's the only game where he wakes up with a knot in his stomach and he dreads it all week. I mean, I think I might block you from WhatsApp and social media on Sunday, because I think I know what you'll be like. But what are you like in the week leading up to it?
Like any game. Like any Villa game.
I mean, let's face it, you get nervous about, I don't know,
I get nervous about
Scunthorpe in a friendly.
Yeah, I do.
You text me saying I don't fancy us today.
I do, yeah. I don't fancy us today against Scunthorpe. No, I do. I get really. It's just the same as any other game. Pre-match nerves. I mean, it's hard because one thing that it's kind of gotten that I didn't grow up in Birmingham, so I really don't.
We'll come on to that. Don't give too much.
Well, in terms of the nerves, if you live in the city and you live and you're from Birmingham and you live around the area and you've been, then it's a whole new kind of feeling. A bit like whenever Cliftonville played Linfield. For any of you Northern Irish football fans out there,
are they real teams?
They are.
I'm only joking. Yeah. I know they are.
But no, I'll be as equally as nervous on Sunday.
So there's no more, nerves.
No less.
No, really.
No.
One bad thing for me this year, and not so much last year, because obviously we didn't lose.
And the missus has booked lunch at 3:00.
Well, you'll finish the game will be done by then.
Nah, we've got to leave the house at like 2 because she wants to go and do a bit of shopping. So
no, surely you can explain that situation. Surely.
So I mightn't get to watch the last half an hour.
Dolan. That is. I'm going to be honest. That's disappointing. I'm doing a Villa podcast. I'm disappointed by that.
What can I do?
Say no.
I did say no.
Well, what did she say?
That was not good enough.
I mean, I'll let the Villa View public in the comments decide about this, but I'm not.
Luckily, she doesn't watch, or else I can get a slap.
I am not having that on Derby Day. That is a disgrace. That is a disgrace. I'm surprised you don't get more nervous. I'd have had you down as a up all night. I get nervous. The shakes.
I do. I get really nervous, but I get really nervous for every game.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened to me. One bad thing for me is that over the last year or so, Birmingham fans have discovered me, and it happened with Wolves fans a little bit as well when they were giving it the big one. I said they've discovered me on social media. I'm not big in Japan, but
discovered me.
If any time I say anything that might be wrong, they come back and quote tweet it and say, "Oh, what an idiot," stuff like that. So if it doesn't go well, I'm not looking forward to having Blues fans that I don't even know or even care about coming at me on Twitter. I don't like that.
Listen, when you put yourself on a public forum, and you get a blue tick.
I mean, I don't think the blue tick particularly means anything.
You have to take the rough with the smooth.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'm going to move on.
So basically, what you're saying is you're nervous about the game because if
No, I'm not. You know, I'm not nervous.
we lose, then
No,
it'll be
I'm not
all about
nervous.
you and your stick.
I wasn't. Again, this can come back and completely bite me. I wasn't nervous last year. First time ever.
Wasn't nervous last
first
year?
time ever last year. I thought, you know what? I think we'll win today. And I'm not going to come on here and say, yeah, I think we'll win, even though obviously I'd predict us to win.
Yeah.
I'm not nervous again.
I'm more nervous this year than I was last year.
They're better. I think they're better than they've been the last few
They
times
are
we've
better.
played them.
They are
They've been in a
better.
bit of turmoil whenever they've
Yeah.
played us before, looking like they might go down.
Mm-hmm.
I think in that, from their point of view, I don't think there's much expectation. I think with Villa, we're at home. I think there's more expectation on us, obviously, because we're at home. I think we've got more to lose.
Oh, always. I mean, as the home
really-
team, you always do. Of course you do. And the fact is that they haven't beaten us in, 10, 11 years.
It's been a while. The last goal they scored at Villa
I
Park
was
was
gonna-
Mikel
I was
Forsell.
going to say that. I get whenever we beat them 5-1.
Consolation.
I was about
That
to
goal
say
really
that.
annoyed me.
Yeah.
I remember that really annoyed me because it was Scott Carson, who I didn't really like at the time. And he wasn't making any saves, and the one shot they had on target
The score.
goes in. That annoyed me that we didn't get a clean sheet and it wasn't 5-0. So
Yeah.
that annoys me to this day, actually, that was 5-1 and not 5-0.
I was in Lanzarote.
Yeah.
I didn't see that game either.
God, I think we're going to have to get a new substitute for Tom
I was
Julian.
in Lanzarote.
Yeah, what's
First
going-
holiday
I mean-
with the girlfriend.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Didn't see it.
Got a question from Sam Young here. He says, and you've touched on this a little bit already. It says, could you compare your Derby experiences growing up, as one of you's from Birmingham and one not? If you're new to the Villa View, guess which one's from Birmingham
What do we skip?
and which one's from, I don't think it's that bad, is from Ireland. Do you think that makes much of a difference?
Do you?
Do you?
Yeah.
I think it did when, I mean, obviously I don't live in Birmingham anymore, but I'm there a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know many Birmingham fans. I don't know, I can't really think of anyone
I don't know any Birmingham fans ever.
who I would class as like a good friend that is a Birmingham fan. I don't really associate myself with them
No.
too much, but when I was at school it was bad. I think I've told this story in a Villa View
Then
before.
we went like so many years without playing them.
Well, yeah, that's the
So-
thing. When I was a kid, it didn't happen.
No.
Because we were always in the Premier League and they weren't.
We were sort of flying high, top six, and it didn't really happen, did it?
No, and then it was only when they got promoted under Bruce.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we played them. I don't think I appreciated how big it was for that time we played them at St Andrews, the incoming game. We lost 3-0. I mean, I didn't go to, during the game. It upset me so much I didn't go to school the next day because I just couldn't face it. I couldn't face the Birmingham fans at school because they'd never said anything to me. Because obviously they couldn't. But then they went on this run for a few years where they just kept beating us. And it was terrible. It felt like the
Yeah.
worst thing in the world
Yeah.
at the time. Obviously, it's a derby game. You just don't want to lose. So growing up, it was a bad thing. Now it's still a bad thing. But as I say, I don't really know any Blues fans. I mean, if we lost when you were living in Ireland, it didn't really make a difference to your life, did it? Well, no, it did.
Well,
You'd be upset. But I'm saying it's not as if you're going
It's still going to make a difference.
No, you're not going to run into a Blues fan, is what I'm saying.
No,
When
no.
you're in Ireland, whereas when you're in Birmingham, that's the risk.
Yeah, I get that totally, and that's the difference.
But it's the same. I would feel as crushed as you if we don't win. You would feel as crushed as someone who lives in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't change if you lose to your local rivals. There's not many worse things to happen to you in football. I mean, the playoff final was quite horrific.
They do think they're. I mean, what gets me? They think they're a bigger club than us.
No,
They are. They do. They're
They don't.
convinced.
They don't think that.
They do.
Why do they think that?
Because that's all you see and you hear. They
They're
think
not going to
they're
come
bigger
on
than us, better
social
than us.
media. They're not going to come on
Yeah,
social
but-
media and be like, "Oh, that massive club Aston Villa. Why? What a better team than what?"
No,
they're
but
never going to do that.
If you speak, if you see a few of those Davo videos and stuff, and some of the people
I don't
that are on
watch
there,
him. Don't watch him. I'm sure he doesn't watch our stuff. They think they've got this thing in their heads where they're
Arrogance.
we drink in town, or no Villa fans are from Birmingham. Like that somehow makes them proper and better than us, which I'd never understood because surely it just means we're a more nationwide, global
bigger
club.
a global brand. Yeah,
I think if you to go through history. If you're going to go through stadium size
Well, if you're gonna go
anything,
through history,
I think
they won a trophy.
yeah, they've won a trophy more recently
More
than us,
recently,
and that's great to me. If I'm going to be honest, that annoys me.
That's what gets me.
That is frustrating because we haven't won anything since '96, and that is shocking.
Yeah.
That is poor.
Yeah.
And fair play to them. I mean, if Arsenal wanted to give them a trophy, it's no good for us. But fair play to them. They've won something and they've got that. But I would say there's not much else that they can hang on to against Villa.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. No.
No.
Their best players an Aston Villa player.
I was going to come on to him.
Which is
If you're made of Gary Gardner, he's still owned by Aston Villa.
I can't see him playing for us again.
Well,
he won't play for us ever again.
There's absolutely no way he will ever be accepted again.
All this KRO.
I know.
Nonsense.
Do you think
on
kind of he hasn't got a
Twitter.
choice because he's playing for Blue, so he kind of has to do it?
I think he probably wants a contract with them, and I think he's like, do you know what?
They like him.
They like him. He's playing well. He's playing with his brother. He's still in Birmingham.
Did brother even get a game?
Well, he's in the squad, isn't he? You know.
I hate him, I do.
I know, awful. I think he's a home bird, and I think he wants to stay where he is. But I just can't get this whole, you know, especially after that celebration when he scored at St Andrews, you know, and then all of a sudden he's a Birmingham fan, and then Craig Gardner as well.
I mean, he's a liar. I'm still not having that Craig Gardner is a Birmingham fan.
Of course he's not.
I'm just not having it. I'll never accept that because I heard the way he talked about Villa when he played for us.
But under Redknapp, whenever they stayed up that season under Redknapp, and whenever they won. I think it was the last day of the season, and he came on and he was like, "Them lot down the road," and it's like, mate, we give them lot down the road give you your first contract in professional football. You were a Villa fan, you quoted being a Villa fan your entire life, and now you're them lot down the road.
I think there's a picture of him up in the academy, Craig Gardner.
Nonsense.
In the Bodymore, because there's like a picture of people that have made it through made the grades.
Yeah.
Obviously, try and inspire the next generation. You know what? Last time I was there, I'm pretty sure his picture is still there, Craig Gardner.
Well, clearly his brother Gary takes it after Craig because the way they're behaving.
I think they're a different type of character. I get Villa fans will not like what Gary Gardner's been doing. I don't like it.
I don't rate him at all. I just don't rate. I think he's bang average. Nice lad.
I say he's a nice guy.
Nice lad. You know, loves the Villa, supports the Villa, but he's never had a good game for it. I've never seen him have a good game ever. He has better games when he goes on loan.
He does play better when he's on loan, doesn't he?
Forest, Brighton. Where was he last season?
Barnsley.
Barnsley. You know. He seems to really perform whenever he goes on loan, and he's doing well. To be fair, it's quite funny that, as we said before, he's missing because and he's one of their better players, and he can't play against us.
7th, 8th choice central midfield
player.
And I'm quite glad he can't play against us, to be honest, because he's bound to pop up with an absolute worldie from
30 yards.
Let's pretend for a minute you're a footballer. In your current circumstances of supporting Villa,
like George Best type footballer,
probably not. I suggest you'd have to get a haircut if you're a footballer because there's no chance you'd be heading a ball because you'd never see it coming in. Would you, with your hair over your eyes? That's by the by. It's not what I'm saying.
Pirlo, George Best.
You get offered the chance to go and play but in general life, you get offered the chance to play or work for Birmingham. A good job, earning more than what you're earning now. Yeah. Could you do it?
No,
I can't. I couldn't either.
Because people always say, like, if I was earning 50 quid a week at Villa, and then Birmingham offer me 50 grand a week at Birmingham, then possibly. But if I've been earning 50 grand at Villa for 5-6 years, and then Birmingham offer me 70 grand, do we really need the extra 20 grand? I mean, have you not got enough money?
I mean, I don't want to dig the guy out here, but James Rushton said last week that he could go and work for Birmingham, and for me, it's Villa or nothing, and I just couldn't do it.
Well, I agree. I mean, it's like Roy Keane, whenever Hughes went to Man City, he was like, I couldn't do
Schmeichel.
it. I couldn't do it,
But those players haven't grown up as Man United fans. You've grown up as an Aston Villa fan.
Yeah.
I just could not do it.
And whenever you hear about, like, when you hear about there's some Blues fans on that work for our club, and there's some Villa fans that work at the Blues. I don't like it. No, for me, like, where I work, I've got to be, and even in my job now, like, I'm very passionate about where I work. I'm very passionate about the brand.
You're very loyal to Portsmouth.
And I'm very loyal.
You couldn't go and work for Ralph Lauren, for example.
No, if somebody offered me, an extra $5,000 a year to work for Ralph Lauren, I'd probably say no.
Yeah.
Because
loyalty,
and work-life balance, and being kind of happy in what you do, but I couldn't go and fake it and work
believing in what you work for.
Yeah, and I couldn't fake it. I couldn't go and fake it and pretend that I love this brand whenever I don't really love any other brands. Do you know what I mean? So,
to
answer your question,
I like it.
Answer your question.
I like your attitude.
No, I couldn't. I'm quite a loyal bloke.
I couldn't do it either. I really think I'd struggle to go in there every day and give it my all, because I mean,
even if they offered you, right, they're like, right, damn, you can head up our entire social media.
No, I couldn't do it because my heart wouldn't be in it.
Yeah,
I just wouldn't want to do it.
No.
I'd be doing it and I'd be thinking, well, I don't want this to look good. I want them to look bad.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's an interesting debate.
But even any football club, I don't think I could do it. Like, just say like Leicester came in, or say another club like Everton came in and said, do you want to come in and working on our sort of social media side of things? Could you do it?
I've got to be honest, in any walk of life, if I'm doing something for Villa, that in my head is I've achieved what I would want to achieve, what my ambition would be. So I just don't think there's anything that could take me away. Because from my point of view, I'd be in Birmingham, which is where I want to live. I'd be working for the club that I've loved my entire life. That to me, you've got goals in your life of things you want to do. To me, that's the ultimate goal, and that I think once I got there, there's nothing that could make me leave it.
I agree.
Even if it was like a terrible place to work, I think I'd still just be like, well, come on, Dan, you're working for Aston Villa, but Blues, I don't think I could do that.
No.
Because you've been brought up to hate them.
Well, not hate. Hate's a strong word, you know. Dislike,
It's
maybe.
the right word.
Well, but I agree. I think loyalty should play a massive part in those kind of decisions.
Yeah. You've been loyal to your coat through this podcast. You've left your coat on.
I always keep the coat on.
Yeah, it's quite warm in here, Dolan. I've got to be honest. 3 layers is a bit excessive.
I always wear 2 coats.
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you've gone for is it because it's the derby, you want to come in your Stone Island?
Yeah. And I got my military jacket on.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's get back to it. One man who is undoubtedly a Villa fan, Jack. And we probably talk about this. We've probably talked about this every year. But the
famous tweet,
the
infamous
saying
tweet.
His dream since he was a child would be to score for Villa, facing the whole end against Blues. Backing him to do it this weekend. You don't want to put the curses on him, do you?
I don't want to put the curse on him.
You know what? I shouldn't even say anything because there's players I bet on quite a lot to score the first goal, and I curse them every time.
He was playing so well last season. Whenever we beat them at home 2-0, I would have fancied him then.
I mean, he did everything but score that day.
But when you look at his chances to score,
Scored last home game.
He did. I would love it. I would love it.
I think
it'd be brilliant.
Yeah,
absolutely. Just be, and for him as well. That would be like the icing on the cake. You know, it wouldn't get much better than that.
I think I'd have a tear in my eye. You know,
would you?
I think so.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know his family.
Yeah.
As well, knowing what it would mean to them, I think that would just be absolutely phenomenal.
It'd be amazing, and if anyone deserves it, it's him.
Yeah, because Tails, friend of yours, friend of mine,
didn't do it, did he?
He never got to play.
No.
Against Birmingham, which
is bizarre.
I don't think did he say he never played against them in his? I don't think he ever played against them in his career.
Even for any other club.
Yeah, that is like if ever there was someone that would have wanted to have played against Blues, it would have been Tails. That kind of fits in with Henry Naylor and JD AV76's question that they've sent in. If you could bring back one player for this game from Villa's past, who would it be? I've tried to take into account injuries here, so I've said Tails or Melberg.
Big John Crew would be a bit of a handful, wouldn't he? He loved it. He absolutely loved it.
Yeah, but no one loved it more than Melberg.
No.
I don't think anyone loved it more than Melberg.
I'd have him back. I'd have him back in a heartbeat in any capacity.
That when he got subbed that his final derby game.
Oh, he's brilliant.
Celebrations.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, you can't think about that without smiling.
Pound for pound, the best money we've ever spent.
Reckon?
I think so. Pound for pound.
This was a question last week about McGinn? So people are saying pound for pound, £2.5 million.
Pound for pound, he's only played about 10 games. I'm talking like Melberg. How many times? I mean, he was with us for what, nearly a decade?
6, 7 years maybe.
But didn't John buy him? John bought him for
Santander.
2
No,
million?
it's 5, 6 mil.
Was it that much?
Yeah. It was a replacement for Southgate, wasn't it?
Mate,
good replacement.
I think you look at what he gave us, you know, and then the final day gesture against West Ham.
I've got that shirt.
Yeah. I wasn't there. I wasn't living here at the time.
Yeah.
That'd be just a great player and a great servant.
Yeah.
A legend, an absolute legend.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Who would I bring back? Who would you bring back? Melberg or Tiller?
I think so. Yeah. Just because I'd like to see Tails play against them, and I think
he'd score as well, wouldn't he?
Well, he had a good knack of scoring important goals. Towers, he was probably one of the best finishers I've seen play for Villa. Actually, 1-on-1, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be nice to see Melberg. And we obviously, if Chester's out, we might need a centre back. That's what I went with. You got to pick one. I mean, I know I'll let you have 2 because I picked 2.
John Carew and I'll go Melberg as well.
You go Melberg, as well. Good. So Melberg is the overall answer to that. Then I think with us both saying him. Have you we spoke about it a little bit, but do you think Blues are punching a little bit same point as us. They're sitting 12th, if my memory serves me correctly, because I think we're 11th. They're punching above their weight, or is that looking at them, is that where you'd expect them to be?
They've got a good squad of players, and Monk's a good manager, and they're being well managed, and they're being well coached and well drilled. So, not really, because for that level, when you look through their squad,
but no transfer business in the summer, really, except for the one guy, Pedersen.
If you've got a good squad of players, you don't need to go and splash out. We needed to bring in 4 or 5 because we lost 4 or 5 key players, but. Look, Spurs didn't bring anybody in, but yeah, they're very well coached.
Best start they've had, but yeah, the media make out as if it's crisis time.
And Blues have had a good start as well, and this is the best they've had in I'd say in 3 or 4 years. So, so no, I don't think they're punching. I think it looks like they're punching because they've been badly managed over the last few seasons. But the last good manager that they've had was Gary Rowett. Since then, it's been an absolute disaster. So, you just showed you bring in a good forward-thinking manager, a good young coach. He coaches the players out on the training pitch, and it rubs off.
Yeah.
So, barring injuries, I think they're a bit thin squad-wise. If they have, like you say, you think there's a few players out this weekend. If you look at our 11 with injuries and they're 11 with injuries, then there's a big mismatch.
That's what I'm saying about that comment. I'm sure it was the Birmingham Mail about Blues have got the better team, and have got the better players.
A lot of their journalists think it's going to be either 1-1 or 1-0 Blues.
Because you're not doing a preview. I mean, obviously you've made a prediction at some point which is set in stone. You can't change that in terms of the podcast predictions. But
2-0.
What's your prediction now? 2-0 same as last season. Yeah. I've saved mine for the match preview that'll be coming later on in the week. We've got 4 questions here been sent in that are purely Derby Day based. So Ryan Hoop says Grealish is probably the only homegrown starter. Is he the kind of player you want to pump him up, or would you need to calm him down going into a Derby game?
I mean, they're going to target him. He's going to be number one.
They did last year.
Yeah, he's going to be number one enemy.
That big guy in the middle of the park. I've got sent off. I completely forgot his name.
Oh yeah, Terry came over and scored up.
His name's completely escaped me.
Endoy. Yeah.
He didn't enjoy his day, did he?
No, I didn't. That's a stinker. No, I think having someone like John Terry is just so key for Jack. I think it's no coincidence that Jack was so good last season when he had someone like John Terry there as a mentor. Obviously his head was turned in the summertime. Had a bit of a ropey start. Didn't quite work for him under Bruce this season. And then Terry's come back into the fold.
They love each other, don't they? Them two.
And just straight away, he's just like the player that we all know and love. So, if this was the Jack Grealish under Bruce of this season with the same management, you'd be a bit worried because you don't know how he'd react. But I think having JT alongside him doesn't worry me. He'll get sent off now.
Yeah, we've probably put the curses on him. I've been thinking about this. If Chester's out, and bearing in mind Smith said about rotating the captaincy, there's a chance he'll be captain on Sunday.
No, I'll be Hutton, I think.
You think?
Yeah.
I've got a feeling. If Chester doesn't play, I've got a feeling Jack will be captain.
That was actually Chris Hodgson actually asked me that. He asked me WhatsApp me that question.
Yeah. I mean, I've not seen that, so I've not nicked it from Chris.
He just WhatsApped me on the way in. Who would replace Chester if he wasn't fit?
Yednak.
Who
would be also a candidate for captain, I would guess.
Well, and who'd be captain? I said Hutton.
You know what? I've just got a feeling.
Well, he was captain at Millwall, wasn't he? Hutton.
Would you not? Out of all those people who are probably going to be,
because he's not experienced enough.
I think captains is overplayed at times. If you give Jedinak or Hutton a captaincy, it's probably not going to make a difference to their game. They're probably going to be as perform.
That's a good point.
They're going to be as vocal as they would have been had they not been captain. Whereas if you give it someone like Jack against Birmingham, do you not just think that makes him feel 10 foot tall, captaining his boyhood side against Birmingham? I think there's a massive case.
It's a good point for that. I hadn't thought about it in that way. So
I was just thinking about it earlier.
Yeah.
Obviously, very busy at work. Villa on the brain 24/7. I've just got a feeling. If Chester plays, I think Chester's captain, even though he hasn't rotated it yet, has he?
No, he hasn't.
He said he was going to, but he hasn't done that yet. I find that interesting. I think that kind of, again, is the captaincy that big a deal if he thinks it's better to rotate and give other people a chance at being a leader?
Yeah, but who's really in that 11, bar Chester? Who's really a great leader?
Jedinak. He's captained Australia to World Cups and stuff.
In that 11,
he's a proper man, Jedinak.
Yeah, but in that 11,
well, he'll be in the 11 if Chester doesn't play.
Yeah,
won't he?
Yeah, but
other than that,
you said about Smith doing the captain, the sort of captaincy rotation, but he hasn't yet this season since he's been here.
Connor was Barnsley captain, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he's captain sides. guess Whelan's captain sides if he was to play, but I get what you're saying. He's not in the
not in the 11.
Not in the first 11. You're right though. There's not many people who've probably captained
last
sides
year we
previously.
had Terry, Chester, Snodgrass.
I bet Snodgrass hasn't
Yednak.
captained anyone really in the past. Snodgrass.
Yeah, but he's got that mentality, hasn't he? He has that sort of
Great
leadership.
player to have around the place. The question here: Everything Villa. That's for our favourite memories of Derby Day. I mean, we probably did this in the podcast last year, but we might have some new listeners and
those
watchers.
Gabby goals are pretty special.
Yeah.
The away ones at St Andrews were pretty special.
Yeah.
The 5-1 was.
I've put the 5-1 down.
Was just incredible. Even the 1-0 again when Gabby came on, just to really rub salt in the wounds.
I mean, that game was
it was horrendous.
Tough watch.
Tough watch. But like,
Feels a million years ago now as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. But for him to come in and do that
after having done nothing all season,
nothing was just brilliant.
Yeah.
So from a comedy value, that was hilarious.
He's going to be in the high end, isn't he?
Yeah.
You see his social media post. Gabby's going to sit in the high end. I wonder if he's anywhere near me in the upper hole.
Would you shake his hand?
Yeah. We've done Gabby to death as well, but you know what? It is what it is. He did some bad things, but he did some good. When I look back over his time at Villa, I won't remember the things that he did badly. I'll remember those Derby goals. To be fair, big goal at Old Trafford. As well. You'll remember those kind of things. So I think
Arsenal, the Emirates 2-0.
I think you'd have had people that would have kept him still last summer. So he'll get a very, very good reception if he's spotted. I mean, he stands out. I'd imagine if he's in the high end, he'll get noticed.
And those dodgy tracksuits he wears.
Not having 6 figures official, Dolan.
Nah, I'm not having that.
My other good memory I've put in was when Hitz scored to put us 2-0 up because I knew him at the time and it was a lovely goal. And I remember thinking then, we've got a really good side here.
There's so many though.
Then Stern John scored in the 98th minute and they drew 2-2. So it kind of, you had the elation and then the horrible kicker that football can give you.
Yeah. But then Gary Cahill as well.
And I mean, at times that was a poor game. That was a relegation clash at the time, that one.
Yeah.
Cahill and Ridgewell centre half in a derby game, 2 kids. J. Lloyd Samuel was at left back, I think.
Yeah. Didn't Barrow score that game?
Barrow scored 2. Best game he had in a Villa shirt. Again, was Barros great for Villa? Probably not, but you think of that game, he scored 2 goals in a local derby, and I think a big smile comes on my face.
Yeah, when you think
just remember. I mean, not through any fault of his own, really. Gary Cahill didn't do much for Villa, did he?
We might see him back in January.
No chance. I don't think so.
No,
I don't think it suits Smith. You're saying about Smith's philosophy.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't think that suits it.
And you know, on that note, quickly, he isn't going to come in and replace Twanzebe, and he isn't going to come in and replace Chester, and he isn't going to come in and sit on the bench.
No.
So
it's interesting with the centre backs now because I think those two are
nailed on,
so far first choices. I think the most likely thing is Elphick coming back, but would he be happy to? He's playing at Hull and doing very well apparently. Would he be happy to just come back and sit on the bench? I don't know.
I'd bring back the
Mitch
kid.
Clark.
I'd bring back Mitch Clark. Yeah,
but his primary position's right back, although he's been spending some time at left back.
He's been playing centre back.
He can play there, Mitchell Clark. He's one I think will make it. Mitchell Clark at Villa.
He's been having a storming time on loan, hasn't he, at Port Phil?
He kind of is reminiscent of Jack when he was at Notts County. I think he's doing very well there, getting good reports. Come back next season and have a go in the first team. Really, that was the making of Jack. Going to Notts County. Another question here, Scott Ward. Will this game ever be allowed to kick off at 3 p.m?
No, shouldn't they really?
I thought of a solution. It would be that it was a behind closed doors game and no fans were allowed in.
I mean, the worst was where there was that Monday night one when there was 8 o'clock, and then in the Carling Cup as well, the 7:45 on the Sherwood.
Unavoidable, that isn't it? It's a difficult one because they can't really. They're midweek games. They can't change the cup ones.
12 to me. I mean, people are still going to get up and get straight on the cities.
Mate,
you know what I mean? Straight away.
They're in absolute state.
Absolutely steaming. But
you won't be. You'll be going shopping.
Regardless of the time, people are still going to drink and get stuck in.
Got a good question here. I like this question. Tom Fleming, 0-0, 90th minute penalty. Who would you pick to take it? Don't look at my answers. Think of your own.
Who would I pick to take it? Out of any of the players on the pitch?
Let's just say they're all. Anyone could be on the pitch at this time.
Anyone could be on the pitch at that time. I mean, Yednak, because he's done it for Australia.
You looked at my sheet.
I didn't.
You looked at my sheet.
I didn't.
That's who I've put.
Yednak.
Because of that.
And
not Wayland.
No. Joe, we haven't really got a great. We haven't really got any standout.
Adoma was
yeah, but then he had a
pens.
stinger against Burton in pre-season.
That was awful. No, in the League Cup.
Sorry, the League Cup.
Wasn't even pre-season, was
the
it?
League Cup. That's right.
It's a competitive game. We're out because
so
of that.
when I think of him, I think of that penalty. We haven't really got any standout penalty takers.
Connor,
we don't get many.
Good on dead balls.
I've never seen him take a penalty.
He took Barnsley's penalties.
Did he?
Definitely took Barnsley's penalties.
I mean,
I've got them two down, Connor and Yedder.
I'd want Jack to take it if it was in front of the whole time, but
I mean, if you remember when we got the penalty against Preston, 3-3 last minute, there's so many people like who'd been subbed or sitting on the bench who would have taken that penalty, and it just got down to, obviously Balassi wanted to take it, but it got down to Whelan taking. I think Abraham would have had a shout of taking it. Codger, Adoma, Connor, they were all off the pitch at the time. 4 of them would have taken it probably.
What's the game that was?
Really, that's what's changed the season. It was the end of Bruce, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I saw that video popped up again on Twitter.
I saw it too.
Bruce
like walking
his back turned, and you could just see, no, here we go. I'm in big trouble here. So Yedder is the overriding.
Yednak. Just because he's Mr. Cool, like, and he. I mean, how many penalties has he scored for Australia?
He took them for Palace as well.
And Palace.
He
Palace.
scored some penalties for Palace. So he's probably got a good record. Yednak, he'd be the one who I think nothing would faze him. Cool customer. So I think I'll go with him. Connor, a close second. Just a bit of plug-in. The Villa View well, it's not even Villa View plug-in, some of it, but Rollo did a kind of an explanation, like a look peek behind the curtain. I don't know whether you watched it. Probably not, because you weren't in it. Of his, behind the scenes of how he made that Tommy Ball documentary, which if you haven't watched yet, I'd say it was a great documentary.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I mean, all I've done is sit here and do a voice recording, but I'd say it was great.
How it hasn't been.
Oh, I had no clue.
No. And how it's not been kind of.
They didn't tell that one in the streets of Ireland.
It's not been universally. But even from the club, like the club haven't spoken about it. There's been no real.
Well, apparently the grave wasn't in the best condition.
No. Well, somebody put a.
That's bad, that is.
But even William McGregor's grave looks like it's.
Yeah, stuff like that. I'm
vandalised.
I'm using something that's turned into a bit of a joke phrase on the Villa View, but it doesn't sit well with me.
No.
I don't like it. Stuff like that's precious heritage. It should be looked after and maintained.
Totally.
So Villa need to get on that.
The club need to get on that. Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully, maybe the documentary's raised some awareness. But obviously, as you've probably been able to tell for the last 40 minutes, not much work goes into us two coming here and doing the podcast. Clowns. Yeah, it's just two mates basically messing around. There's a semblance of organisation when Tom's there, but when me and you are doing it, it is clown.
I've had no media training.
It's too clown. I mean, never have I.
Well,
I'm not a trained journalist like Tom Julian, mate.
No, that's true.
I've trained myself.
Yeah.
As you can
tell.
tell.
Notes. I
hate doing the notes. Absolutely. I sat there and made those notes, and I hated doing it.
Absolutely freestyle.
Hated doing it. Remember, we did one without notes once. God knows how we managed to get through that for an hour with no notes. I think I've become a little bit reliant on the notes when Tom's not here. But just another video or a batch of videos that's also coming. I wanted to plug that I'm involved in is
go ahead.
The Luke Roper videos you may have seen. I was lucky enough to go to the training ground and work with some of the first team players. So the first video of the Luke Roper Golf Challenge came out last week with Tammy Abraham and John McGinn. I believe it's a Scandinavian special coming out this week.
Scandinavian special?
At some point, so you can probably work out who the two players are that were competing against each other for that. So that's out on Luke Roper's YouTube channel. I mean, I've probably retweeted it 1,000 times as well, so you can probably find it on my Twitter as well. Yeah, Dolan's got some free gear.
Got me really nice.
Not to brag.
Nice polo top there. So thanks for that.
Yeah,
on the Luke Roper.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen that and you want to check me out working with some of the first team players, I mean, it's literally a minute long. But I think it's a decent watch. Good for me. Good thing for me to be able to do. Because we've had a question here from Spellchecker. Says, have you guys ever pushed the idea to Villa for doing a show on AVTV? Well, I did have one.
He did have one, but he got dropped.
Yeah, got dropped. I can't say
because he was rubbish.
I mean, I don't think it was because of that, Dolan. I think it's quite harsh, but
no, I thought. Listen, I was very impressed. Very impressed. I couldn't do it.
No,
I could
live.
Not.
Take the live environment into account.
Couldn't do it.
But I can't say too much. But not involved this season. I'll let you speculate as to why that is. But I'm not very happy about it, if I'm being honest. Got some general questions here. Craig Brooks, any chance of all three of you getting in the booth?
We have to sort this out. We have to do some kind of.
I think we'll do it for Christmas. We'll find a way.
We have to.
We'll do a Christmas special.
Even if we can go to like a a pub or something, and
I mean, it could be even more of a car crash, 3 of us
that would
doing
be
it.
brilliant. But that's what people want to see.
Yeah, a few people do ask for it, to be fair.
Do you know what I mean?
And we do appreciate everyone that listens and
great.
watches. Everyone's probably got a favourite combination that they enjoy
Yeah.
more than others. But I think it's different. It's different when Tom's not here, different when I'm not here, different when you're not here. I think it's different every time.
Yeah, I mean, I always think I'm rubbish.
I mean, you're not great, but
People seem to lap it up.
mate, those bots, those Irish bots, absolutely love you.
That's £5 of
They lap you up, the Irish bots. Declan O'Donoghue, possibly one of your Irish bots, has said, what's your favourite food, cellar / wagon? Great use of the word wagon.
Wagon.
At Villa Park. I've got one that I go to, but it's right by the car park. I can't for the life of me remember what it's called.
The one by...
I've gone there since I was 7.
Club shop?
Nah, further back. This is down Sycamore, just off Sycamore Road, and I just cannot remember what it's called. But I've got a question for you, based on the back of that.
Yeah.
Are you a Bovril man? Because it's Bovril weather now.
No.
Not a Bovril. You don't like drinking Grover?
Never had it before.
You never had a Bovril?
No.
God, this guy's missing the second bit of the Derby game. You've never had a Bovril?
No.
You're losing points for being on the podcast every second.
Mate,
at the moment.
I'm honest.
Yeah, no, you are honest. I respect that. I can't believe you never had a Bovril. There's a stage in my life where I would have them at home as well. My mum would be like, "Why have you bought this?" When I was younger, I'd be like, "Mum, I like Bovril. Let me live."
There's the famous Billy Connolly joke, isn't there, about a Bovril?
Oh, I can't say I've heard that.
YouTube the Billy Connolly video.
Is he not having it?
It's just a very fun. It's a Celtic Rangers thing. It's hilarious.
Okay. Is that why you've not had it? Because you're Celtic?
No. It's not a Rangers drink. You know?
Just a little guess. It was Adam Bath that asked whether you were Warmington Neelan, 3 clean sheets in 5.
Well,
Warmington.
I spoke about it.
We've done it. I couldn't. You know what? I tried to look and name check him at the time, and I couldn't find him in my own notes, which probably sums up the state of me today. Steve Deakins asked about our thoughts on the EFL TV rights. Have you made of that? Have you seen
Funny
it?
one. Not really paying much attention to it, but
I think it's a strange one, because I think
it's bizarre.
The teams that are complaining might not be in the league next season.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a difficult. I get what they're saying, because don't the Premier League clubs get paid more now?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, they're trying to make the same kind of thing.
There's just no comparison.
But the other clubs aren't going to go for that, are they?
No, there's no comparison. I mean, the coverage that we get for the AFL just across the board is just so second rate.
I mean, the AVTV is no good.
But just in general, there's just nothing. Like, there's nothing to get excited about. You know, the quality that you get. You compare that to the Premier League, and it's night and day, isn't it? You know.
But people aren't interested in it.
Of course they're not. Yeah.
Well, Villa v Leeds has been moved to a Sunday at 1:30, which isn't very helpful.
I saw that. I saw that.
I've said to my family,
you're going to have to travel down on Saturday night.
I mean, I'm doing something this Saturday night anyway, but I said to my family when my mum was trying to work out Christmas plans and stuff, she was like,
What did that again?
Sunday the 23rd, this is Villa Leeds.
23rd?
She was like, will the game get moved to the Sunday? And I was like, no, they don't play Championship on the Sunday, Mum. Move Villa v Leeds on the Sunday, of course, after I've said that. But yeah, no real thoughts on the AFL rights, but I think you've made some valid points.
I think we're just so minted that it doesn't really matter.
Well, yeah, it's not a bad shout. Dolan, Chris Price, with Christmas 5 weeks away, what do we want from Santa? What do you want this year? I want a dressing gown.
Get a tracksuit.
Yeah?
I want to get a really nice tracksuit.
6 figures official?
No.
Can't say you as a tracksuit man.
Oh man, I wear trackies all the time.
Do you?
Indoors, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, indoors.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be seen in public with it, though, would you?
I go to the pub and all, tracksuit.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I don't imagine you doing that.
That Goodfellas scene whenever he's in jail and he brings back in like the fresh lobsters and the bread, and he's in a black Adidas tracksuit, and he zips it kind of halfway.
I can't remember.
And he has all his jewelry on. That's me. Yeah. That's where I get my tracksuit inspiration from Goodfellas.
I mean,
and have you seen The Sopranos, Tony and all the lads? That's right, man.
What a show! The Sopranos. If you haven't watched The Sopranos, get on that.
That's what it's
immediately. I've put here job in Birmingham because I mentioned wanting to get employed in Birmingham last week, and I've not had any job offers off the back of the podcast. So, and Rollo's actually had a gig.
Has he?
Yeah, Rollo's been given. I won't go into too much detail, but he's got a new gig, not permanent. Freelance job, good freelance job off the back of the Villa View. It'd be nice if I could pick up some gigs off the back of the Villa View. To be honest, you want any gigs off the back of the Villa View?
I don't think I'm good enough.
You've been very hard on yourself today. I think you're lining this up here so that people come in the comments and they're like, Dolan, you're so good. Don't be so hard on yourself.
How great I am if you want.
Yeah, I mean, the people will do that now. Those bots.
It's up to them.
Yeah. Final question that I've wrote down on my extensive notes. Derek Krogan.
I love how the notes are in red.
In red, mate. I'm not messing around this week. Derek Krogan, his name I don't recognise, so if you're a new
What's his name?
Listener or watcher, Derek Krogan.
Derek Krogan.
Welcome, Derek. Connor is an absolute danger from set pieces. From the Premier League era onwards, who have been our top 3 dead ball specialists?
Merson.
I didn't put him in mine.
The Magic Man.
Yeah, I don't remember him whipping in loads of good free kicks. He had a wand of a right foot.
Just a genius. Mark Draper.
Draper?
Steve Staunton.
Staunton's there. I mean, are you going to name everyone?
Wand of a left foot.
Steve Staunton, I'll put as number 1.
Have you?
What a player. Steve Staunton was
he
unbelievable.
was my childhood hero.
I loved him.
At Villa, I just loved Steve Staunton. What a player.
Under Brian Little in his Brian Little's second full season,
Amazing.
he played in the middle of the back 3 and he used to come out with the ball and just whip it. His corner. Not many people who are playing centre back take corners.
Well, I mean, just phenomenal. He scored from a corner against Wimbledon, didn't he?
It was Wimbledon or Palace. I've got a feeling it was Palace.
Was it
in '94?
'94. He scored from a corner.
I don't know where
knowledge. Yeah. Google that.
I remember that because it was one that I missed. I had a season ticket, but I missed it. And I remember my dad ringing me to tell me Steve Staunton scored from a corner.
Yeah.
It wasn't as easy to see stuff in those days if you weren't at the game.
Who else? I mean, Ashley Young's got to be in there as well.
Yeah, I'll put him down there.
But Gareth Barry had a great delivery, didn't he?
He didn't take them that much though, especially when Young was there, because Young had one season where his dead ball delivery was
stunning. Well, sure, we scored.
Larson got 5-6 goals off the back of that, and then the next season, you couldn't bet he went terrible.
No,
he's putting a few good balls for Man U recently. Actually, I've noticed, so he hasn't lost it. I'd have Connor up there in the dead balls.
Yeah,
so many. I think I saw that he's been involved in the most goals out of any of our players this season.
Yeah.
And he hasn't played every game, so I think that's a good record. I think it was 7 goals. I think he scored 2 and got 5 assists.
I think he also.
Connor.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I like
definitely
that question. I like questions like that. It's a bit nostalgic.
Definitely Staunton. Definitely Young. And I'm just trying to think that era, like the sort of mid 2000s, just pre O'Neill.
I think we struggled once we lost Staunton for a bit until Young came in. I think
Ulysses De La Cruz. Nilberto
Solano was
Solano
good. Yeah, but he was more of a scorer from free kicks. Hits had a good free kick as well, but again, it was more shooting.
Great shot, yeah.
But I think we struggled for a while off the back of Staunton.
Listen, if you can get somebody else who's got a wand of a left foot or a right foot, then, set pieces.
Going to chuck another question there. Best penalty taker?
Dwight York.
Dwight York, did he miss it? I think he missed a few. I remember him missing against...
chip.
Yeah, he had a good chip on him. I remember him missing one against Newcastle once.
Everyone misses a penalty now and again.
Yeah,
Dwight York.
Barry was very good from the spot.
But just like, if you answer something quickly, he just comes in the
Barry was mine.
Yeah?
Yeah, you just never felt like he would. Again, he probably missed one, but you just never felt like he was going to miss.
This is a great show.
Barry.
We could just start from the
back. We should probably do it. Maybe if we do get the 3 of us together, we could do it.
Derek?
Old Derek Krogan.
Could be first timer luck.
That's a good question.
That's what I'm saying. It could be.
I like the way he applied it to the modern day. And then gave us a chance to be nostalgic. I mean, if you want,
I could sit here now and start from best shot stopper, best left back, best right back.
Yeah, chuck in some nostalgic questions for us. We like to go, but don't go too far back because we're not as old as we look.
We're of the era of sort of early 90s.
Ron Atkinson
from Big Ron
was my first manager.
Yeah, same here. From Big Ron onwards is our thing, isn't it?
Maybe we'll do a nostalgia show. We'd get the 3 of us in a booth.
That'd be great.
Tom can talk about white kits or
whatever
he likes, and we'll talk about the nostalgia.
Definitely.
Yeah, we'll sort it out. If people want it, leave us a comment.
I think people do want it.
If people want that,
we get asked.
I mean, you look at this booth. By the time Dolan's hair's got in here, there is not much room for anything else going down.
It is tight.
It's pretty small.
It is tight.
Pretty small, but I think that'll do us, won't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming down eventually. Really appreciate your presence.
Braving the weather. So,
thanks for having me. No, that's good to have you back, and obviously with Tom's
great news about Tom as well.
Tom's new arrival. You'll be here for
maybe seeing more of me.
You'll be here for the next few weeks for certain.
Yeah.
Unless you late again, in which case I'll draft someone else in the week after.
It's called hard work.
I'll go upstairs and get Merce if I have to, Dolan. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching this podcast, and apologies again for the awful start off the back of me and him trying to set up camera equipment. We almost need a runner.
We do, yeah.
I mean, if anyone wants to come and be our runner and you can set up a camera equipment and things like that, we can't pay you.
So I'm just kind of easing into it now.
We need help.
I've got to turn it off. I could sit here and talk all night.
I'm a bit worried about this coffee stain that's on the table as well, because it isn't going anywhere. So you'll probably see that in the outtakes. It's probably all caught on camera, but thanks ever so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this podcast and you've been watching via YouTube, then make sure you're giving it a like and comment below with some nostalgia and give us some more questions. If you can hit us with some nostalgia questions in the comments, we'll try our best to cover them next week. If you've listened via iTunes and you want to leave us a positive review, which I can imagine isn't always easy listening to some of the ramblings that come from us, but if you can be nice and leave us a positive review, that'd be great. If you're not already subscribed to the Villa View with your post notifications on, if you could do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. It really helps the channel grow. Rollo and myself will be back for a preview later on in the week, so watch out for that. Although, to be fair,
covered a lot of them.
I don't think I've got anything left in me about the Derby game on Sunday, to be fair, but I'm sure we will sit down and do a match preview. Fan cams will also be out after the game on Sunday. Hopefully it'll be a positive one, because quite frankly, if it isn't, I don't want to do it off the back of a Derby game. You know what, I can't even imagine what that would be like.
Let's not try.
No, let's not think about it. Let's end on a positive. We're feeling good going into the Derby game. Dolan and myself are confident. Thanks ever so much for watching or listening to this podcast. We really, really appreciate it. Up the Villa, and good luck, lads, on Sunday. Oh God, that ending absolutely sums it up. Turn it off. Turn off the camera.
Turn it off.
Thank you. I realised quickly as well.
Sorry, Sunday.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.